familia. I am Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, and president of ONYXCON. And so, in this feature, what I want to convey is two main things. Not only just speak of my personal feelings of his importance to an entire artistic movement, to a cultural movement, to a cultural awareness, to a cultural appreciation, to people understanding the power of what art can do. When Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out, featuring Anthony Mackie and his incredible portrayal of the Falcon, there was a group in Atlanta that did promotions, okay, for films. The lady who ran it reached out to me personally. You know, I just get this email out of nowhere saying, we hear that you're in charge of this thing called ONYXCON. We think that's really exciting. We're in Atlanta, and we're going to be promoting the new Captain America film with Anthony Mackie, the Falcon, and he's going to be there that night to greet fans after the film showing. Would you be interested in coming? I'm like, before they can even read the sentence, I'm already right back like, hell yeah, I'll be there. What you want? What you do? Yeah, you be there. So anyway, we were there. We did the whole red carpet and everything. It was a lot of celebs. It was all kind of folk from TV shows, news stations, the whole nine. And you know what I'm saying? Got a chance to do Q&A with Mackie. But the other great thing about that was the producer. That was the debut film for the unknown to many, and still lightly unknown because, you know, he's not a very public person himself, but his impact has obviously impacted the entire world. The executive producer of that film was Nate Moore, a black man. And Nate Moore was there that night. Now, mind you, this is the same Nate Moore who would later be the executive producer of Black Panther, working with Coogler, working with Chadwick and the entire brilliant cast and all of the production to make the fourth highest grossing domestic film in history. You know, so Nate was there. And it was that night that I got a chance to shake hands with Nate Moore, who is so humble. He came up to me at the end of the film, at the end of the Q&A. He was like, how you doing, Joseph? He introduced himself and said, what did you think of the film? Now, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, wow, you know, I'm kind of starstruck with not even, you know, I never met this man, never knew it, but I knew his credentials. So I know who I'm talking to. And I just thought, man, the film is amazing. I mean, he said, would there anything you thought would need to be changed? I was like, again, I'm thinking, not, you know, who am I to say, because I've got a great eye for things and I write and all that. But it was just an exceptional film. I had nothing to say. I was just like, man, it was great, brother. Y'all got a winner here. And it's a pleasure to meet you. Never knowing what that would mean. So, Captain America Civil War comes up. And at this time, I'm an actor. I'm in the biz. I'm looking for casting calls. And lo and behold, I see they're shooting the scene, the famous Legos scene, which was shot right here in Atlanta, the Legos scene. And it was incredible. I mean, because you know, to make that scene real, everybody who was black in Atlanta who wants to be an actor or just wants to be on a film set was there. On many sets by then, but this, if I remember correct, was probably, it may have been my first Marvel film to be there amidst all of that. So then there was another scene they needed for that great movie, which was the UN scene. Now, a lot of times when you get cast in one scene, depending on how close you were to the camera, if you got featured, as they say, they don't bring you back because they'll be like, hey, wasn't that same guy in Legos? And he was a merchant in the market and now he's a UN guy or a photographer at the UN. They don't bring you back, but I guess I wasn't too close to the camera, so I applied again. And lo and behold, I got brought back for this other scene. So now we're at Pinewood Studios and we're shooting the famous UN scene where T'Challa's father is murdered. I was there. And that was the first time I saw Chadwick in person. And so I can just remember there was a scene that was omitted from the film. I don't even think it was included in the special features, but it was another special speech that he and his father's character did prior to the father giving the speech in the big, huge auditorium room. There was like an outside the auditorium, small press conference situation. And I was in that press conference. And so, you know, that was my first time seeing him perform, doing lines, you know, and it was real short and real, you know, real quick, intimate scene. But it was just like, you know, just to be in his presence and know who he was to be in this Marvel universe. Like, yo, that's the dude, man. That's T'Challa. That's Black Panther. Oh man. So, you know, and people just look bigger than life when they're on set, and you know what their representation is for something. And it's a beautiful feeling to be in that. You know, there's nothing can take that feeling. It's amazing to be on those sets. The sets are amazing. And there was a side area behind all of what would be on camera where, you know, you see the back of it and it's all wood and everything for the structure of it. And there was a little seating area for Chadwick to take breaks between takes. And most of the time he'd just be back there by himself, just sitting. And so at one point they put me kind of close to this opening where you could look over there and you could see he was sitting there. And, you know, you in the biz, they say, you know, you don't mingle with the actors, you don't talk to them or anything unless they talk to you. You know, they give you some love, sure, open up the floor. Everybody, you know, I've had some great moments like that. I've talked to a lot of great people who's just cool in the moment or had time. And it's not to say who's cool and who's not cool. It's really, you know, it's the actor's prerogative. Sometimes they're so in character, depending on their method, they're so focused on the scene. They don't have time to be like doing that fan thing, which is why you have to have set etiquette and be respectful and not be, you know, oh my gosh, I love you so much. Would you please just look at me? And no, it's not about you right now. It's all good, you know. I appreciate you, but I need to focus on this scene, right? So I kept all that in mind, but it's like to my peripheral, it's like, here's the scene, and to my peripheral, while they're getting cameras ready and stuff, it's like the man is sitting right there. So I'm trying not to stare at nothing, you know. And I just kind of glanced over, you know what I'm saying? He was just kind of sitting there. You can tell he's getting his thoughts together for the scene. I mean, that's my interpretation of what he was doing. And he kind of looked a little bit like, you know, because he feels somebody looking at him. And I just looked back and I was just like, and I may have done one of these, like, man, I'm proud of you, you know, and that's all, just, dude, you the dude. And he just kind of looked back like, and went back to his thoughts, you know, but that meant something to me. That meant something to me. So that was the first real, you know, Chadwick in-person moment. The second would be when Black Panther was being filmed. And I had the privilege of being on Black Panther twice, as showing up on camera and in the movie once. Yeah. And that was, again, here we go with UN stuff. I was brought in for the UN scene at the end of the film when he does the famous speech, opening up the world to the possibilities of what Wakanda could offer the world. And that was a long, wonderful day. I mean, we sat through all the takes. We were the audience, all of us doing background. And I ended up getting featured for it. I mean, you're talking about a room of hundreds of folks, but our little row, our little end of a row with me and maybe, I guess there could have been 8 of us that got on camera, attentively, you know, watching him do this speech, you know, priceless, you know, and to see him work. And there was one moment I'll speak of that was especially impressive for me was, you know, seeing his chemistry with Coogler, who is just so real and so cool. That dude is like, who you see on interviews and everything is who he is forever. Coogler is that dude. He's so focused, so real, so himself, always. You could just tell him and Chadwick had such a cool director-actor relationship, which is so important. You had to respect each other so that you can get the work done properly. And they had that. They had it real cool. I mean, it was just 2 brothers that seemed like old college homies or something, you know what I'm saying? Like they've been knowing each other forever. And that you could feel that energy. Everybody who you know was in the scene is there. They're there. They're doing their thing. And you're getting to see all of this up close and personal. And so as we're watching, there was one moment where Lupita had a little stumble. And I'll never forget this, because it happens. You know, it's like people have no idea how many takes. and then the hours you're putting in on these sets, and we're just doing it, you know, when I say we, I'm saying those of us who were doing background. We're there for a day, but these folk could have been there a night before doing an action scene, wore out, tired, sleepy, still within, you know, less than 6 hours of sleep, getting up on that podium and making this look real, like they're confident and all in character, and just doing these lines, take after take after take after take after take. And each take, you got to bring the same emotions you brought the last, because, oh, the lighting needed to be adjusted, the sound needed to be adjusted. If you get this one word a little bit different for what's going to end up sent to the editor. So it's just so much, especially on these types of films. So anyway, there was a moment where Lupita had a little stumble, and you could tell she's embarrassed because, you know, she's a master. So she's trying to make sure she get her stuff right. And it's very, you know, it's very taxing on the actor, because people in the biz can sometimes be so judgmental of, oh gosh, we're going to be here longer because they can't remember their lines. You can see it with the crew. They get little, some of them, I'm not saying everybody, but some people get a little edgy about that, and it creates a whack atmosphere. What happens is she's having her moment, and Chadwick came over to her calmly, and you could tell they had a real cool sister-brother energy, and he just, like, you know, whispered some things in her ear, and she's nodding. It was, you know, like a coach on the sidelines, like, you know, yeah, all right. She went back, she killed it. Perfect, flawless, right? The next take, as I remember this, could have been many takes later, but I know it was after that, Chadwick got up to do his famous speech, or a part of it did. I mean, because there were some parts of it that weren't even included in the film, but, you know, most of it was part of what you saw. And he had a stumble. It's almost like it's contagious sometimes. Like I say, all these folk could have been working on a scene together the night before. It could be tired as hell. You never know. But that man, as an actor, this was incredible. Because I've seen this happen on many sets. And people, you know, like I said, the energy can get real weird real quick. Like, you can feel the judgment, or you can feel you know, just a lot of levels of stuff when an actor misses a line, or can't remember, or has a moment where they need to just get it together and come back to it. And usually they'll just say, oh, we'll cut, we'll take a break. He said, he held up his hand, he was like, no, we're not gonna cut, because, like, yeah, I think somebody was about to cut. He said, oh. You couldn't hear nothing. It was pure meditation. The whole room meditated with him. And that man came back and killed them lying. It was perfect. So, yeah, I witnessed that. And it taught me something. It told me, as I grow, as I, you know, become what I plan to be as an actor, you have a right to remember your power, because you're the reason for the season. And it's not an ego thing. It's a balance thing. We're all human. So let me get through this. Take your time with me, because my time is valuable. My energy is valuable. And you're going to respect it, because you hired the best, and you're going to get the best. But to get the best requires that you respect that process. That man brought it. And he keeps bringing it. And he will keep bringing it as we forever reminisce. Wakanda forever.